And what a week this has been. I mean, I've literally been all over the state. I've actually traveled to Oregon and Wyoming this week too. It's been incredible. I started out Monday. I received an order from Ontario going all the way up to Mesa. Mesa is in between Cambridge and Council, Idaho, along 95. I'm like, go drive the 95. Yeah, you bet. So I went up there. I stopped a couple places on the way back. Checked out the Midville Park. It was really cool. And then also stopped at Ruby Park right there at Fruitland. Checked out both of them. Tuesday followed with just primarily doing some dashing around Nampa. I primarily stayed in the Nampa, Caldwell, Middleton area as I dashed around. It was kind of a nice, just, quiet day. I enjoyed it. Nothing too elaborate to share for Tuesday. Tuesday was easy. Wednesday, on the other hand, was the beginning of the grand adventure of the week. I received a double roadie going to Twin Falls in Ammon, Idaho. Ammon, Idaho is clear over on the east side of Idaho, over by Idaho Falls, which is only an hour, maybe an hour and a half from Yellowstone Park. Clear over on the other side, over by Montana and all that. I traveled through that area back in February when I went and seen Cutlass, but I really didn't stop. Beyond that, the only other time I'd been over there is when we went to Yellowstone like 9 years ago. So it had been a while. I got over there to Ammon and I was like, clear on the other side of Ammon, out by the country where they're building new buildings and stuff. And I'm like, that's tiny little town. There's nothing here. You're driving through, there's nothing here. Well, I was like, after a while, I said, I'm just going to give up on Ammon. I'm going to go into Idaho Falls. I'm going to check out Idaho Falls. So as I'm driving over toward Idaho Falls, literally Ammon Road has all this stuff on it and all kinds of restaurants. They had a Desert Industries. They had other stuff. So there was a bunch of stuff to actually check out. And so I did some dashing between the two roadie orders and then the dashing. I made an absolute killing that day. And so that really helped my numbers for the week that one day. It was like 2 days worth of money. It was sweet. And then I ended up, Wednesday night, I just stayed at the restaurant just south of Idaho Falls. There's a rest area. I slept right inside this van. Thursday morning, I wake up and I'm like, I really want to go up north. I want to see if I can get over there and take a look at Teton County. It's one of the few counties that I haven't actually visited. And I'm so close. I'm an hour away. I really should just go over there because odds are I'm not going to come back. So I hop on my phone and I'm like, I wonder if there's anything. And sure enough, there was a triple roadie sending me deep into Driggs area, which is the county seat of Teton County. So I'm like, oh, this is awesome. So I'm like, I get to go over, I get to like check out it. Well, then I dropped off the last package. I was 7 miles away from the Wyoming border. And I'm like, oh, can I mark off Wyoming too? And so I'm like, I'm going to go check out and see what's over here in Wyoming because I'd only been there one time in my life. And that was 9 years ago when we went to Yellowstone. That's all of Wyoming I had seen. So I looked, and Jackson, Wyoming, I've heard of that. Jackson Hole, I've heard of that. And so, well, Jackson, Wyoming actually is one of the most richest places. You got movie stars, athletes, that kind of stuff that have second homes there. And I'm like, ooh, I'm going to dash. I'm going to go on over there. It's like an hour from where I'm at. I'm going to go dash. I'm going to go check it out. I'm going to go see if maybe some of these high rollers are, ordering from the fancy restaurants and that kind. I was all hyped up. So I get over there, 2 restaurants on DoorDash, McDonald's and Wendy's. 2. Needless to say, no Sandra Bullocks, Arnold Schwarzeneggers, or Bruce Willis's or any of those were ordering McDonald's or Wendy's while I was there. So I was running like primarily to the people that live there that work in the tourist industry. Now, Jackson's a very, very cool place. Not to dash, but it's a really, really cool place. As I was like driving around, I saw some stuff and I'm like, I gotta go check it out. One of the best things to actually check out is you go into the park right there in the center of town, and it has these arches that are made out of antlers. Very, very cool to check out if you get a chance to go to Jackson and check that out. I ended up going back over. I wasn't making any money dashing there, so I was only there for an hour or two. And I'm going back over to Ammon and Idaho Falls, which was about an hour. Well, as I'm driving back over, they had a flash flood warning come in. And so I'm driving over the Teton Pass, which is an incredibly intense drive. Anyways, it's got like 10% slopes of going both ways. Semis are only supposed to go 25. It's a one-lane highway each way. You get behind a semi, you're going 25. So basically, everybody's going 25 going over this. Riding up, you're just in a low gear, you're just cruising up, you're taking your time. Coming down, you're riding your brakes the whole way, not to run into the car in front of you that's only going 25 miles an hour. But in a flash flood, they had the nets on the side. And I'm looking over out the window, and I can just see mud coming down behind these nets, and then coming up underneath the nets and onto the road. And I'm like, oh my crap, I am in an avalanche, right? So as I'm driving, I'm like 25 miles an hour skidding around on this mud, going, this is crazy. But it was cool. And then the clouds were coming in from the rain, and it looked like something from Lord of the Rings. It was really, really cool. I just felt like, oh, I was in heaven. It was beautiful. I got through that, and then I took a little highway. I don't remember what it was, but it jumps out into the 26, and then you can take that into Idaho Falls. And so as I'm driving along that, I found a new rest stop. It was a really nice rest stop up on a cliff over the Snake River Canyon, looking down, and beautiful. Pouring rain, just pouring rain. I got out there to take some pictures, and just within a couple of minutes of taking pictures, I was drenched. I was just like having the time of my life. It was so cool. So that's what I did. I did those, and then Friday rolled around, and Friday I'm like, I need to go back home. I'm missing my family. There wasn't a whole lot showing up on roadie. There was a trip going down to Pocatello. I'm like, that's on the way. I'll make a little bit of money driving back. So I went into Pocatello, and I delivered this air cooler to this dude that lived over there in Pocatello. Well, this wasn't a part of Pocatello I hadn't actually visited before. And as I was coming back, headed back through town, I came across the Pocatello Visitor Center, which had this amazing cheap Pocatello statue. And it was really, really cool to see. And so I got out there, I took some pictures, walked around the Rose Garden a little bit. I looked over across the road, and there's, there's a big old park with frisbee golf and everything. And I'm like, I got to come back. I don't have time today, but I got to come back. I got to check this out. So I'm like, but I am going to dash in the old part of town. So I ran over there to McDonald's. I did a couple of dashes. It was horrid. They were like $4 dashes, 2 an hour. It was like, oh, no money to be made. But the reason I wanted to be there is I did get to drive through Old Pocatello. And Old Pocatello, in my personal opinion, is one of the best historical districts in the state of Idaho. It is amazing to drive through. One of the deliveries actually took me into one of the old hotel buildings, which had been converted into apartments. And so I got to climb up to the 3rd floor, looking at the beautiful wood banisters, the wood trim, and it was Very historical, very, very beautiful. I really enjoyed it. After that, I hopped over and I'm like, I'm going to go to Twin Falls. The Twin Falls is on the way home. So I'm coming back to Twin Falls. There's a roadie order I'm like really wanting, but it was like 1,200 pounds of wood. And I'm like, I bid on it, but they wouldn't give it to me because they didn't think that my car could handle it. So I didn't get that order. I was really kind of bummed about that. That one I wanted to make some good money that day off that run. I didn't end up doing that. I dashed a couple. They were like little dashes, not really much anything. But the last dash took me out by the jalopy jungle out there. Now, I like to try to repurpose parts whenever possible. So if I can go to a junkyard, I can pull apart. I'm going to go to a junkyard, pull apart. After I blew out that tire a couple weeks ago, and I did some damage to the van, I need a new fender, I need a new headlight, and I need a new bumper. Well, when we had all that rain on Thursday, it got in. My bulbs were working in my headlight, but the rain got in there and shorted them out. And so all of my headlights on the driver's side of my car are dead, both the regular and the bright. I have my regular and bright on the passenger, but that doesn't do it. I need to get that fixed. I'm a professional driver. I need to get my car fixed. So I stopped at the junkyard. I went through like a whole bunch of cars, and all of them had the headlights pulled except one. So I go to pull the headlight off that one, and it's broken. I'm like, are you kidding me? I got it all the way pulled out, and the back was all messed up. And it's like, this isn't going to work for me. So I didn't get my part, but I did get to spend a little bit of time in the junkyard, which I enjoy. After that, I drove home. I was talking with my wife. She had the kids. They were a little stressed. She was a little stressed, trying to do some dashing. And I'm like, we got a big weekend coming up. I'm going to have the kids this weekend. You're going to be doing your main money making this weekend. I said, so why don't we just all meet? I picked up a bag that had to go to Homedale. I'm like, let's go to Homedale. So we all met at home. We loaded up the kids and we hightailed over to Homedale. We dropped off this bag right on the border. It was like 5 minutes from the border. I'm like, hey, let's go check out the border. We're here. So we ran over there and, we were being goofy. I was dancing on the border, just having a good time. So I went this week from Wyoming to Oregon, all the way across Idaho. It was phenomenal. Up, about a good third of the way up when I went up to Mesa. All in all, that was a ton of fun. When we were in Homedale, when we tried out the Golden Palace Oriental restaurant, Bridget liked it more than I did. I thought it was okay, but it wasn't like the best Oriental food, but she really enjoyed it. A really, really good service in there. I'll give it that. That was phenomenal service. And okay food. The food was not bad. The food was okay. Bridget really liked it. She liked Oriental food also more than I do. So for the weekend. So yesterday, Bridget went and she did Lyft and stuff like that. When you're doing Lyft, you can't have anybody else with you. So she can't Lyft with the kids in the car. So I'm like, I'm going to take the kids. I've, got $100 and I've made my money for the week. I said, so I'm just going to take the kids. And we went over to Boise and we ran some various things and we checked out various parks and we stopped at McDonald's and Burger King and we had fun. Yesterday was a fun day. Today, it's Sunday and we finished up. We got a bag and we went over to Mountain Home. Mountain Home's, 50 miles away from Boise. And there's when I went in there earlier this year, I found this tunnel that had when I went in before, it was blank chalkboard and people were writing on chalk in it. And I'm like, oh, this is so cool. I got to bring my kids. And so we went and we picked up chalk and then we went back. Well, now the artists have gotten in there and they spray painted and there was chalk and there was marker and there was all just through it. And it's like a tunnel of love. All the phrases in there are like love phrases. And, it's really cool. So the kids were in there and, you know, like Scarlett was writing, I love you and love yourself and like all this kind of stuff. And they were drawing hearts and they put chalk on their hands and they up against a wall. And I actually left something for the Awesome Delfinos on there. It was like, yeah, I wrote down the Awesome Delfinos and I drew the little hands, like, you know, the shirts, the hat kind of thing. My artwork's not nearly as good as this here that I had designed, but all in all, it has been a tremendous week. So as we prepare for the next week, though, it's gonna be a little bit different. So Bridget is leaving in the morning to pick up Dre in California. She is taking the twins. She's gonna stay with her dad. We have found that when we travel places, we tend not to make as much money as if we're at home. At home, we know when the certain orders are coming up. We know when to look for the Walmart stuff. We know when to look for the Amazon stuff. We know when to look for, you know, she can't lift down there. There's certain situations. So what I'm doing, I had a tremendous week. I kind of did a little vacation of my own. She's going to go down with the kids, pick up Dre, spend a couple of days, visit with her family down there. I'm going to continue to work up here. Now, when I say I'm going to continue to work up here, who knows what that will bring. Yeah, so I look forward to what next week will bring. But it's going to be a little different. Bridget will be out of town. The twins will be out of town. I'm going to try and actually put in some 10 to 12 hour days. Just get up like 6 in the morning, you know, maybe even try to get like a 16-hour day. I'm just going to like crank, see what I can get. Just in case if she's not able to work a whole lot down there, she's visiting or whatever, we still make our money that we're trying to make for the week. If she's able to work, I might cut out a little bit, you know. Who knows? Who knows what next week will bring? And that is what I love about doing this. So again, Dash and Discover is all about, I am a professional delivery driver. My wife is a professional delivery driver. And we just do what the orders tell us to do. And it's amazing. It is difficult. It is stressful. There are times when you worry that you're not going to make the money that you need to make. There are times you put in 16, 18 hours because it's dead and you're just not making the money you need to make. But other times you make the money off 2 or 3 really good orders. You just never know. And that is what I love. So, thank you for tuning in on this weekly review of what all I did and what we're doing next week. Thank you. And as always, be excellent to each other and party on, dude.